Hey guys, Cody's Tech Reviews here, and I wanted to go over a couple of life hacks, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call them, features for Design Space on the Cricut. This video is going to be really geared towards people that are new to the Design Space area, new to the Cricut world, and haven't really gotten their feet wet with it yet. So these are going to be some simple quality of life upgrades for you. So first let's start with the weld feature. So if you look down here in the bottom right hand corner, we've got the slice, the weld, the attach, flatten, and contour. Let's talk about the weld feature. We're going to grab a couple of shapes here. I've got a square and we've got a triangle. We're going to resize the triangle just a bit here so it fits in. Just like that. Now, if we wanted to, we could really go deep into resizing, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. So we'll highlight those together, and you can hit attach, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Attach just puts these two pieces together. The issue with that is the machine is still going to cut each shape individually. So even though these are attached, and when you grab them, they move together and they resize together, they're still considered two separate pieces. When the machine goes to cut, it will cut a triangle, and then it will cut the square, and it will have an overlapping cut right here. You can see this line here, and that's what that means. We want to avoid that, obviously, because when it comes to weeding your material, you're going to have a headache because now you've got two separate pieces when you're hoping for just one. So we'll highlight both, and we'll hit weld. Weld gets rid of that middle cut line that you saw right here, and now we have one piece. The machine will follow this line here, and these three lines here, and this one again. Very, very helpful when you're creating your own image, creating your design, and kind of modifying and making your own. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the slice feature. We're going to make a little crescent moon for our home-looking building here. For this one, we'll just take two circles. And for visual purposes, I'm going to change the color of the top circle to red, just so you can see what I'm talking about here. Let's move the red circle until the remaining part that we can see of the gray circle resembles a crescent moon. I'd say that looks pretty good. We're going to highlight both, and we're going to hit slice. Once we hit slice, it's going to slice the red through the gray object and the gray object through the red. You can see the line right here following that circle. If we move this piece, you see that we have a crescent there, we have the center, and the center. We don't need all these extra pieces, we can just go ahead and delete them. So now we've got a nice crescent moon. That brings us to our next subject. We want to talk about rotation. You have a couple different ways that you can rotate. You can utilize the rotate option up here by clicking this arrow up and down to have a positive rotation for clockwise, or down for a negative rotation for counterclockwise. Or to really just go with it quickly, you can grab the circle up here on the top right hand side of the object and move it whichever way you need. From there, you'll go ahead and use these two arrows to resize the design. You can use these for a maybe not so precise version of it, or you can go up here and double click on these numbers to change both the height and the width of the object. You can use the arrows to move up and down a tick, typically by 0.1 of an inch, or you can double click and make it exactly what you need it to be. From there, we're going to go ahead and use our weld feature again. So we'll line it up where we want it. I'm thinking right about there. We'll highlight both of the objects and hit weld. Now, when the machine goes to cut, it will follow this line, these three lines down here, and then for this line, it no longer goes straight through. It will cut the shape of this crescent moon and continue out the rest of the top of the half of the object. From there, we'll talk a little bit more about the attach feature. So we're going to grab another shape here. We'll grab this circle. For this circle, we're going to touch on the resizing option here, but we're not going to resize to where it stays uniform. We want to make our own shape. We're going to make more of an oblong shape or an oval shape. We can do that by clicking this lock here. You'll find the lock there or up here next to these numbers. Once you've done that, what that means is width and height will no longer move uniformly. They will move however you want them to. So if we need a more oblong design here, we can. So we're making somewhat of a very not so creative cloud. We're going to highlight both of those there and hit attach. So now what's going to happen is it's going to cut these two objects completely separately, but they're going to stay in this same location here. So when we go to resize the overall object, they resize together and they stay in the same position. Next, let's talk about hiding an object. So one issue that I ran into quite a bit when I was getting started is having multiple objects on one canvas. What that means is when you go to cut, and I'll give you an example here, we'll add a square and we'll add a star. When you go to cut this project or make this project, it's going to want to make all three of these as well. So this is one object, one as well, and the third one down here. But what if I just want to make my star? I don't want to worry about making my other two objects. You can delete them, but that can be a pain because if you accidentally hit save, now your object is gone forever. The best thing to do is to click on the object that you don't want to have cut and look over here on the right hand side in our layers section. We have our square layer and we're just going to hit the eye to hide it. And we'll do the same for this one here. You'll see that it's now highlighted this entire attach feature over here in the layers and hide it. Now when we go to make it, it's just going to be our star right here. I think that covers most of the tips and tricks that I wanted to share with you today. I know that we're definitely going to have more that come up, so please leave a comment down below and let us know if there's anything that you need help with or anything you'd like to see us make a video on. We'd love to support you in your projects. Thanks for watching.